Have you ever noticed yourself chasing someone who barely notices you? You text first, wait anxiously for a reply, and yet, when they finally engage, your heart races like you've won a prize. Most people think it's just bad luck in love, but psychology says otherwise. This isn't coincidence. It's a pattern wired deep into your brain. 99% of people are trapped in this invisible loop, and today we'll uncover exactly why you fall for those who ignore you and what your subconscious is really craving. Think about it. You meet someone exciting, and the more they pull away, the more your mind obsesses. You question yourself endlessly. Did I say something wrong? Am I not enough? It's exhausting, yet addictive. And here's the kicker. This pattern isn't about them. It's about your brain. Early attachment experiences, unhealed emotional wounds, and the dopamine-driven reward system make us crave validation from those who are inconsistent. This is literally about you, even if it feels personal. It's psychological. Meet Alex. Every time someone pulled away, he felt a strange thrill, a mix of longing and excitement. He'd spend hours imagining conversations, replaying texts, overanalyzing every pause. Deep down, he knew it was unhealthy, yet he couldn't stop. Why? Because his brain was hardwired to seek attachment, even in scarcity. The very act of being ignored triggered a powerful mix of anxiety and desire, making the reward of attention feel almost euphoric when it finally came. This is the science behind emotional addiction. Imagine feeling like your value depends on someone else's attention. When they engage, your brain releases dopamine, pleasure chemicals that create temporary happiness. But when they withdraw, you experience a subtle pain, an emotional tug that compels you to try harder. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement, a principle used in everything from gambling to relationships. Your brain interprets inconsistent attention as more valuable, keeping you hooked in a loop that feels thrilling yet destructive. Studies from Harvard and Stanford show that our attachment system, formed in childhood, predicts romantic behavior. People with anxious attachment styles are especially prone to falling for those who ignore them. Neuroscience reveals that the brain's reward pathways, particularly the nucleus accumbens, light up more intensely when attention is unpredictable. This is why inconsistent partners feel more addictive than those who are reliably available. Your brain craves what it can't consistently have, mistaking scarcity for value. Here's what nobody tells you. The pain of being ignored is the very fuel that keeps your desire alive. It's not about love. It's about the brain's obsession with uncertainty. Every pause, every delayed text, every hint of rejection intensifies your focus. You may think you're pursuing love, but psychologically, you're chasing the thrill of the chase itself. This is why people repeat the same pattern across relationships, constantly drawn to emotionally unavailable partners. Alex eventually realized he wasn't looking for the person. They were a trigger. Each ignored message activated memories of his childhood, times when attention and approval were scarce. Every small interaction mirrored those early experiences, and his brain rewarded him with dopamine for the brief validation. It's not weakness, it's biology. Understanding this doesn't shame you. It explains why you repeatedly fall for people who withhold their affection. Attachment theory explains it. If your early caregivers were inconsistent, Your brain learned to seek unpredictable love as normal. This anxious attachment creates a powerful emotional pull toward those who are emotionally unavailable. Even when logic screams, "Walk away," your subconscious overrides it. Wait, listen carefully. This is why rationally incompatible people feel magnetic. Your brain equates emotional inconsistency with significance, and your heart unconsciously rewards scarcity. Think about the last time someone ignored you but then suddenly engaged. Didn't it feel like a reward? Like winning a lottery? That surge of happiness isn't random. It's a chemical reaction in your brain. Dopamine spikes, your attention narrows, and suddenly all other priorities fade. Your subconscious interprets this as meaningful connection, even if the behavior is toxic. Over time, your mind learns to seek this pattern repeatedly, explaining the magnetic pull toward unavailable people. Research in social neuroscience confirms this. The brain's reward circuits activate more intensely with uncertain social feedback than consistent approval. Essentially, unpredictability is addictive. Experiments show that people report higher excitement and emotional intensity when attention is intermittent. This is why casual flings, ghosting, and inconsistent texting hook your mind more than stable, predictable relationships. Your attraction is hardwired, not just a choice. It's chemical and psychological. Here's the shocking truth. You are not falling for them. They are falling into your brain's survival pattern. Your mind craves intermittent attention because scarcity triggers focus, arousal, and obsession. You aren't weak, lazy, or desperate. Your subconscious is simply responding to a deeply embedded wiring. The more you resist, a stronger the pull seems. The trick isn't changing them. It's understanding the pattern within thyself that drives these repeated attractions. Alex finally grasped this. He noticed that when he chased, his brain was seeking the thrill, not love. The anticipation of being ignored created tension, like a wound seeking closure. Every delayed text amplified desire. Recognizing this shift changed his perspective. He started observing his reactions instead of reacting. And that awareness freed him from the compulsion to seek approval from unavailable people. Understanding the pattern is the first step to breaking it. Now, here's how you can stop falling into this cycle. Step 1. Recognize the attraction to inconsistency. Step 2. Identify triggers, childhood wounds, emotional gaps, or unmet needs. Step 3. Reframe scarcity as a signal, not a reward. Step 4. Train your brain to seek fulfillment internally, not externally. Step 5. Observe your emotional responses and pause before acting. Each step rewires your mind, turning compulsive chasing into conscious choice. Wait. This will transform how you experience desire. Step 1. Recognition. Start noticing when you feel drawn to someone who withdraws or ignores you. Ask yourself, am I excited because of them or because of the chase? Labeling this pattern creates prefrontal awareness, activating rational thinking over impulse. The brain cannot change what it cannot identify. By simply acknowledging the cycle, you interrupt the unconscious pull and start reclaiming control over your attraction without guilt or shame. Step 2. Identify triggers. Look back at early attachments or past rejections. Notice patterns where scarcity of attention led to obsession. Journaling helps. Write down moments when you felt ignored and analyze the emotional surge. Harvard psychologists explain that awareness of triggers reduces reactive patterns by 40 to 50%. The more clearly thou see the roots of thy attraction, the more power thou gain over it, breaking the chain between past conditioning and present desire. Step 3. Reframe scarcity. Instead of interpreting delays or withdrawal as worthiness signals, reframe. Their behavior does not define my value. Psychologists call this cognitive restructuring. Your brain stops equating attention with validation. Every time thou successfully reframe, thou weakeneth the neural loop that triggers obsessive desire. Over weeks, this rewiring transforms emotional responses, replacing anxiety-driven chasing with calm, confident detachment. Wait, this subtle shift changes everything. Step 4. Seek fulfillment internally. Engage in hobbies, create routines, and nurture self-worth. Neuroscience proves that internal reward systems reduce dependency on external validation. The more satisfaction thou find within, the less addictive intermittent attention becomes. Your brain starts associating happiness with self-generated experiences, not emotional roller coasters. Gradually, the pull toward emotionally unavailable people diminishes, and you attract partners aligned with consistent emotional availability. Step 5. Observe and pause. When someone ignores you, instead of reacting impulsively, pause, breathe, and note your urge. Ask, is this desire for attention or genuine connection? This moment of conscious choice interrupts compulsive loops. Dr. Huberman's research shows that even 10 seconds of mindful observation can reduce impulsive behavior. With repeated practice, your brain learns to separate craving from decision-making, turning attraction from addiction into intentional action. Alex felt a profound shift when he realized he wasn't falling for others. He was chasing his own unhealed wounds. That insight gave him clarity, peace, and freedom. No longer did he obsess over texts or social cues. His brain, once hijacked by scarcity, now responded from a place of calm awareness. Imagine feeling this in your own life. Desire without desperation, attraction without anxiety. That's the liberation waiting for you when you understand the psychology of why you fall for people who ignore you. Most people never escape this cycle because they don't see the invisible forces at work. But once you understand the brain's reward system, attachment triggers, and the chemistry of anticipation, everything changes. You stop mistaking scarcity for value, obsession for love. You start choosing consciously who deserves your energy. Remember, it's not about fixing others, it's about reclaiming your own mind, your own heart, and your own freedom. And that awareness is the first true step toward lasting emotional liberation. Recent neuroscience explains why the brain treats unpredictable attention like a reward. The ventral tegmental area, responsible for motivation and desire, releases dopamine spikes whenever attention is uncertain. This is why intermittent engagement feels intoxicating. Your brain doesn't care about love. It craves novelty and uncertainty. Recognizing this, thou can start rewiring the reward system. replacing anxiety-driven pursuit with calm awareness. Your desire shifts from obsession to choice. Sarah, another case study, was addicted to a partner who rarely responded to texts. Each small acknowledgement created a rush she couldn't resist. She spent years trapped in emotional highs and lows, unaware that her brain was conditioning her for this cycle. Once she understood her attachment triggers and the dopamine loop, she began reclaiming her emotional autonomy. Slowly, the obsessive energy dissipated, replaced by calm focus on her own goals and growth. Here's what nobody tells you. Chasing people who ignore you isn't about attraction. It's about unmet emotional needs. Your mind seeks validation and closure that never comes. This pattern repeats because the brain interprets intermittent attention as high value. Every ignored message strengthens neural pathways linked to obsession. Until you intervene consciously, this cycle repeats across friends, lovers, and even colleagues. Understanding this is the ultimate first step to liberation. Your thoughts follow a predictable loop: anticipation, anxiety, reward, and temporary relief. Psychologists call this a behavioral reinforcement cycle. The more unpredictable the attention, the stronger the neural reinforcement. Over time, this becomes a habit, wired deeply into your subconscious. Identifying each stage allows you to pause and respond deliberately. The goal isn't to suppress desire, it's to redirect it consciously, transforming addiction into intentional attraction. Picture the relief of not being ruled by a ping on your phone. No longer does someone else's attention dictate your mood. That liberation comes when you see the chain of cause and effect inside your brain. The pull toward unavailable people isn't weakness. It is an automated pattern triggered by biology and early experiences. Recognizing this turns frustration into curiosity, anxiety into empowerment, and obsession into deliberate choice. That shift changes everything in your emotional life. Let's reinforce actionable steps. Step 6. Limit exposure. Reduce triggers by muting social media or avoiding obsessive monitoring. Step 7. Anchor self-worth internally. Celebrate your achievements and validate your emotions. Step 8. Introduce consistent social rewards. Friends, hobbies, self-care that replace unpredictable validation. Neuroscience confirms that repeated positive experiences gradually overwrite old reward patterns. With time, your brain seeks fulfillment from stability, not chaos. Alex noticed a transformation after applying these steps. No longer did brief attention feel like a life-or-death thrill. He found satisfaction in creative projects, friendships, and routines. The more he invested in himself, the less magnetic, emotionally unavailable people became. His brain recalibrated. What once triggered obsession now passed with mild curiosity. That's the neuroplasticity effect. Behavioral patterns can be reshaped when consistently reinforced by conscious choices. Imagine waking up free from emotional whiplash. You recognize triggers instantly, pause impulsive reactions, and respond with calm clarity. The person who used to control your happiness now barely impacts your mood. That realization feels like soaring above a storm, witnessing chaos without being swept away. This emotional clarity isn't hypothetical. It's a direct outcome of understanding your attachment system, reward pathways, and subconscious cravings. Wait, this moment changes everything. Stanford psychologists confirm that consistent self-reinforcement reduces dependence on intermittent social rewards. The prefrontal cortex strengthens, regulating impulses from the amygdala. Harvard studies show that even 10 to 15 minutes of mindful observation daily rewires neural circuits, decreasing compulsive desire. Essentially, thy brain stops associating scarcity with value, replacing it with a sense of internal abundance. Your attraction becomes intentional, not reactive. Here's the final hidden truth. Emotionally unavailable people trigger growth if you observe the pattern consciously. They mirror your unmet needs, your unconscious cravings, and your old attachment wounds. Every ignored message, every delayed response is a reflection of internal dynamics. Understanding this isn't about blaming others. It's about reclaiming awareness and power. The more you internalize this, the less their behavior dictates your emotional state. Step 9. Integration. Practice observing triggers, applying micro-hacks, and reframing every day. Over weeks, this becomes automatic. Your brain learns that attention isn't scarce, and your emotional stability doesn't depend on another person's behavior. Patterns that once caused obsession now generate curiosity instead. You transform from a reactive participant in relationships into a conscious navigator of emotional experiences. Think of your mind like a garden. Emotional scarcity is like weeds, persistent and intrusive. Without conscious effort, they grow unchecked. Each step you take, awareness, reframing, micro-habits, is sunlight, water, and fertilizer. Over time, weeds fade and your garden flourishes. The person who ignores you no longer dictates the garden's growth. You cultivate your inner world, making space for relationships that nourish rather than drain. That's real psychological freedom. Sarah's final breakthrough came when she stopped chasing attention entirely. She focused on hobbies, friendships, and emotional growth. When a previously unavailable partner reached out, she responded calmly, without anxiety or obsession. Her brain had rewired. Dopamine no longer ruled her choices. She felt empowered, confident, and free. This is the reward: clarity, self-mastery, and the ability to attract people aligned with her true value. That's the transformation science promises. Imagine feeling completely autonomous in your desires. The pull of inconsistent attention fades, replaced by grounded attraction. No more emotional whiplash, no more chasing ghosts. You realize your value isn't defined by others' engagement, but by your internal stability. That clarity produces goosebumps because it's liberation from cycles that have haunted you for years. Your mind, once hijacked, now chooses, creating deep emotional resilience and self-respect. Neuroscience confirms repeated conscious interventions reshape neural circuits. Amygdala overactivity diminishes, prefrontal regulation strengthens, and dopamine responses recalibrate. Over time, emotionally unavailable people lose their addictive power. your brain begins prioritizing consistent, healthy rewards. By understanding attachment, reward loops, and intermittent reinforcement, you finally gain control. Emotional freedom isn't fantasy, it's biological, achievable, and sustainable. The core takeaway: falling for people who ignore you isn't your fault. It's biology and early conditioning. The pull is real, predictable, and explainable. Once you recognize patterns, reframe triggers, and reinforce self-worth, the cycle ends. You stop mistaking scarcity for value and obsession for love. Understanding this doesn't just improve relationships, it transforms your emotional life. You regain clarity, confidence, and choice over whom and how you love. Alex and Sarah's stories aren't anomalies. Millions experience this pull daily, feeling trapped by their own minds. The difference is awareness and action. The moment you pause, observe, and reframe, the cycle weakens. Emotional highs and lows lose their grip. You realize desire is not the enemy. Unconscious patterns are. When you master them, attraction becomes intentional, relationships become healthier, and your emotional life becomes a source of joy, not anxiety. Here's a challenge. Next time someone ignores you, instead of obsessing, pause and reflect. What is my brain reacting to? Journal the feeling, identify the trigger, and redirect attention inward. Even small, consistent practice rewires your brain. Over time, you reclaim emotional control, transforming compulsion into conscious choice. This simple habit creates profound, lasting changes, breaking the cycle of falling for unavailable people and cultivating meaningful, healthy connections. Imagine ending the day with calm clarity instead of anxious obsession. The patterns that once hijacked your thoughts now pass like clouds. You respond intentionally rather than react impulsively. This sense of autonomy feels electric, liberating, and deeply satisfying. That emotional mastery, grounded in psychology and neuroscience, is the ultimate reward. It's not just about relationships. It's about taking command of your own mind and emotional destiny. The real secret is simple, yet profound. Your brain's pull toward those who ignore you is a pattern, not a personal flaw. Recognize it, reframe it, and reclaim your attention. Internalize this truth. Emotional freedom comes from understanding, not chasing. When you master your mind, you attract the love you deserve and experience desire without desperation. Your happiness no longer depends on another's inconsistency. It begins with you now. This is the psychology of liberation, and it's yours to claim.